In this video, I'll be going over my exact lead generation process that I have deployed across hundreds of businesses, generating thousands of sales calls. So what I'm going to talk about in this video is not going to be some random lead generation or cold emailing tutorial, but this is something that actually top 1% agencies and SaaS companies are using right now to get clients on autopilot. There won't be any fluff or gatekeeping involved. So without wasting any more seconds, let's get into it. So this is a snapshot of how the entire process looks like. Each of these colorful blocks you see are important pillars of a successful lead generation process. And if any of these breaks, then your entire machine collapses. That's why you need an expert to execute all of this, because if you are executing this without in-depth knowledge or hands-off experience on building this properly, then you're probably going to mess up something and all your emails are ending up in spam. Let's start with the first pillar, which is the infrastructure. Now, this is the foundational block where your entire system is built on. To get the highest deliverability possible and being cost effective, I typically diversify the infrastructure into using US IP Google server and our own private server. So we are literally purchasing a server of our own where you'll be hosting your mailboxes. Under your server layer, you'll have your domains where we'll be diversifying this as well across .com and .info domains. Now, the reason why we are diversifying domains as well is a couple. First is the deliverability and second is the cost. So .com domains are typically almost 3 times more expensive than .info domains. .com are almost $10 to $12 per year per domain. .info domains are typically $3.5 to $4 per domain per year. And the deliverability difference between .com domain and a .info domain is not that huge. .com domains always will deliver better, but the difference is not that huge, which justifies the cost. That's why what I personally do, I typically buy 50% .com and 50% .info domains. Under your domain layers, you'll have your mailboxes, which would be based on the domains that you will be purchasing. Typically from one domain, we'll have 3 mailboxes. 60% of these mailboxes would be based on Google rotating servers, and the rest 40% would be based on our own private server. Now you need to understand that in our private server, we can host unlimited mailboxes. There's no limit. We can literally host 1000, even like 100k plus mailboxes. But is it viable to do it? No, it's 100% not recommended, because the more mailboxes you host and the number of emails that you are sending, if it increases to a specific capacity, then most of the emails will again start landing in spam, because the server IP won't be able to handle the entire infrastructure on its own. So the best option is to have at max 200 mailboxes to 300 mailboxes under one server, and from each mailbox you can send up to 20 to 30 emails every single day. Once you set up this entire infrastructure, then you need to take care of all the DNS and technical setup like mailbox and domain authentication, domain forwarding, even domain masking and DNS configuration, which typically involves DKIM authentication, DMARC authentication and SPF records. Now, for example, just to give you an idea, if your TAM is more than 30,000 or 40,000 decision makers where you can just reach out to them, then I typically recommend sending at least 3,000 emails a day. That's the starting sending volume, so that you can at least start getting some meaningful results out of outbound. Now, let's take an example that you're sending everything on Google as of now. You need at least 120 mailboxes to support this amount of sending volume, because we're considering you're sending around 25 emails a day per mailbox, which is a recommended volume both for Google and our own private server mailboxes. And for having these 120 mailboxes, just divide this number by 3, because per domain you are having 3 mailboxes, no matter we are talking about private or Google servers. So that means that you will need at least 40 domains to support 120 mailboxes. Now you can do the math based on 120 mailboxes and 40 domains on how much cost you would need to spend on this entire infrastructure. Now, once we set up this entire infrastructure, then the next pillar that we are going over would be our offer funnels and the ICP metrics. Now, this is not that technical, it's more strategic, and this will determine whether even if your infrastructure and even if your entire technical system works, then you would be getting results or not. Because trust me, most of the agencies out there are not capable of building good offer funnels for you. They won't understand the right pain point that your target audience and exact buyer personas are facing. They won't be able to literally tie your value prop with those pain points and attract your customers through this funnel. So when I'm personally working with my clients, my goal is to A/B test as many offer funnels as possible. Some of them are listed below. So typically all the offer funnels which I personally test are differentiated or categorized across 3 different buckets. First bucket are micro offers. So this is something that we create for most of our clients. Clients that I work with, most of them don't have an initial offer. They just have the service or the software as a service subscription that they're selling. But the first aim for me is to create that into an offer, and that should be a cold traffic ready offer which we can literally market through advertisement, through cold emails, through LinkedIn outreach, everywhere. We won't directly market the main service or the main subscription because that won't work in today's world. We need to create some kind of cold traffic ready offer, and we need to market that to first get initial demand and then upsell them into your main high ticket service or subscription. So that's how these micro offer works. These are typically low ticket offers that you can have. It can be a lot of different things. For example, one-time setups of your entire service, which can be way less priced compared to your main service, or it can be any courses, consultations, trainings, and many more. Personally, I have multiple micro offers. For example, I offer $100 one-time cold email setup offer. I also offer my course, which is also in a similar range. So a lot of people and a lot of businesses that work and take my high ticket service comes from these micro offers first. They either first take my setup service or they take my courses. And after learning about these things, about outbound and in general all these things, they typically start getting some results, but they are not able to scale it and make it profitable. And then that's the moment when they reach out to me and take my main high ticket service because the trust has already been established. So this is also called a low ticket ascension funnel because you're literally ascending a client or a customer from your lowest ticket offer to a highest ticket offer, so you're upselling them. The pros of this is that it decreases the resistance for the prospect to buy your initial offer because your initial offer pricing is way lower, so they typically buy that. The conversion rate compared to your low ticket offer versus your high ticket offer, the low ticket offer will always win in terms of the conversion rate. You might not be able to make a lot of money with that, but the goal is not to make money with the low ticket offer. The goal is to build trust and eventually upsell all those specific clients to your main high ticket service. And the good part about this micro offers is that it also qualifies all those businesses from your low ticket offer, so they understand your high ticket offer better and you will get better clients as an upsell clients, and that typically increases LTV by a lot, and you love working with those clients because they've already taken your initial service. The second bucket of offers is the direct offers. Now, just the name suggests, it's basically directly offering what exactly you do. Now, it's not something like pitching your service directly, but it's more like asking that whether you face the pain point that we solve. That's the thing. If they face the pain point, then we are going to pitch our main service or directly asking for a demo. But it's not that we are directly highlighting our service in the email itself because that doesn't work anymore. Now, direct offers works really well if you are very niche down to a specific subcategory and you know exactly what you're solving. Your pain points are very specific and you don't have a lot of competition. Or if there's any trending service or any AI related service which is trendy right now, it would work really well. Now, the good part about direct sales funnels are that these are like the fastest in terms of the sales cycles. It's really quick. You need to have a VSL because VSL landing pages will sell really well in these direct offers, and you'll get highest intent leads and qualified calls because these people, they have said yes only because they actually have kind of intent. They actually want that service right now. The third bucket of these offers are lead magnet offers. Now, as the name suggests, lead magnets are something which we are giving to our prospects completely for free even before they are coming to our call, so that the agenda here is they get value from us before even they get on a call with us. This typically builds trust so that it will give them enough conviction that, hey, these people knows what they're talking about. So then it increases the chances of them buying from you and getting on a call with you. Now, the good part about lead magnet offers is that you'll generate a lot of leads here compared to all these other offers because all the people wants free stuffs, right? And all these stuffs will be personalized that you will be generating for them. Again, you can automate a lot of this stuff. For example, personally, I have automated a lot of different successful lead magnet offers. For Instantly.ai, we have scaled one offer to, we were sending around 60,000 emails per day and it was booking around 20 to 40 sales calls, just this offer alone. And we didn't even have a landing page for this offer. The offer was that we were giving away and we were creating the exact campaign angles for a specific lead that we were reaching out. our lead list was more than 100k verified emails, and we were asking them that, hey, we'll generate email sequences for you, campaign angles for you, everything just for free. All you need to do is just type yes. And once they do that, then I had created an entire end-to-end workflow which used to create everything for them and sends them within 15 or 20 minutes of them responding back to us. Everything was automated, and that used to build a lot of trust because what we were building was actually good stuff which other people were paying for in the market. So these offers can also work really well, but essentially our goal is to test all different types of offers, and on each offer bucket you can have multiple offers to test, and across different offers should have a lot of different ICP segments. These can be sub niches, or these can be categorized based on the company headcount that you're reaching out to, SMBs, mid-market or enterprise companies. All this can be categorized based on the geographic location, industries, anything. But I would recommend having multiple ICP segments to A/B test which segment is responding best to your different offers. And across different ICP segments, you should have multiple messagings so that you can test the different types of pain points, different types of offers, and different messaging templates. Personally, when I work with my clients, I test 20 to 50 different offer, ICP, and messaging permutation combinations for different clients across 2 to 3 month period. And if you're testing at so high volume, because we're literally sending around 3,000 to 5,000 emails a day here, and across these 2-3 months or 4 months, we are testing 50 different permutation combinations. So there's a huge chance that you will finally find your exact same offer, ICP, and messaging combination which is working the best for you, and it is closing lots and lots of deals for you. Once you find that right angle, then your goal would be just to scale that, double or 10x on that, close all the other offers which are not working. Now coming to the next pillar in the entire picture, which is lead scraping. Now this is more on the technical side. I see a lot of people do this mistake that they just use some generic database like Apollo or SalesNav to scrape their entire lead list and just reach out to them without doing any further enrichments. Apollo is definitely a general database which has a lot of data, but the problem with Apollo is that it will have data that everyone else is using as well, and the data on Apollo is mostly outdated. They typically refresh their database in 3 to 4 months, which is a lot, since in this world, in this era, a lot of people are changing their job very frequently. The job titles, everything else might not be accurate. So you need some other databases as well. And that's why personally, when I work with different businesses, I typically use multiple providers to actually map out the entire total addressable market for them. So we first start with identifying some niche directories. Like we use Clutch for marketing agencies, we use realtors.com for real estate agents. Similarly, for your niche, there might be multiple directories that we can scrape using a Python script or something, and we can just create all those scripts and just scrape the entire internet, which is publicly scrapable. The next type of scraping that we do is called lookalike modeling. You might know this, but essentially what it means is that we're using tools like Ocean.io or AIR, which are lookalike modeling tools, to feed in your best case studies or your best customers domains, and based on those domains it will generate multiple lookalike domains to whom we can reach out to. Now this works really well, especially if you have complex ICP which is not easily scrapable using Apollo.io. But we typically do this for all our clients, no matter how complex or how simple the ICP is. And then the third type of provider that we use is the general databases, which everyone else uses as well. For example, Apollo.io and Sales Navigator. Now, one thing that you can understand from here is that this definitely makes the entire process relatively more expensive. But if it is giving you those leads who will actually respond way better compared to the general Apollo leads, then 100% it's worth it. If you're spending 20%, 30% more to get 50% better results, then 100% just do that. Otherwise, you're not getting the best out of this system. So that's what personally my team does when we onboard any client. In just first 14 days, we map out their entire TAM, scrape the right decision makers and everything, and build a proper lead list. One thing that we also do is setting up agents for scraping high intent leads using buying signals. Now, this is very hot in the market and everyone loves buying signals because these types of leads are actually showing some kind of intent or some kind of trigger, which typically shows or signify that this lead might have interest in your main service. Some of those buying signals are mentioned here. For example, social selling signals, where this is something that we do for a lot of SaaS companies. We typically scrape and first identify who are the competitors who have a lot of followers on LinkedIn. And we typically scrape their entire followers on LinkedIn because these followers actually know the product and can basically be sold on to my client's product, because basically we can just highlight that, hey, you're following this, that means you're probably using it, but this product cannot solve XYZ, which our product solves. Something like that. And this works really, really well. 100% whenever I'm working with any client who has a lot of competitors with a lot of followers, I always do this campaign because it always performs really, really well. Then there are other signals like people who are engaging with your competitors' influencers post, or connections of your competitors' founders, or connections of your competitors' HDRs or AEs. There are some generic intent signals as well. For example, companies using a specific tech stack, or you can scrape companies from product reviews like G2 or Capterra, companies featuring in Google News, TechCrunch, etc. There are thousands of signals that you can personally use, that we personally set up for our clients. Now, here you need to understand that not all the signals are for you. There can be just one or two signals which is actually working for you that we will actually scale. So the key here is that not to get distracted with all these signals. Instead, just focus on those 2 and 3 signals which actually have a lot of potential for you. I'll give you one tip. This one signal always works really well, no matter what niche, no matter what industry you are in. It is the new role signal. I think it should be somewhere here. Yeah, it's here. So any prospect who recently changed their job, or recently got hired to a company, or recently got promoted in their own company, these people responds most to your cold outreach messages, no matter which platform you're messaging to. It works really, really well. What I typically do for all my clients is that we launch an evergreen campaign targeting new roles in their ICP companies. And we set up this once, and our automation system automatically identifies new and new roles every single week and reaches out to them. Now, going to the next pillar, which is the orchestration pillar. Now, this is also really important. I know a lot of people misses this or always messes up this. Earlier, we were using Clay, which you might have heard. It's a $1 billion company now. And recently, I think a few months ago, we replaced Clay with Claude Code. Basically, what we're doing is we're using multiple enrichment providers and doing huge enrichments. You're personalizing leads at scale. We were qualifying leads at scale. We were doing A/B testing and all of that. And we were sending all those leads to our outreach tools. Now, Claude Code has replaced the entire thing. It's cheaper as well. It's more effective as well. Essentially, what we do, we first enrich all the basic data points of all the leads that we have scraped across different sources. And this also ensures that you're removing all the tire kickers who cannot even afford your packages. And typically, you should do this using Claygen, but now we just do it using Firecrawl plus AI of Claude Code. For all the qualified leads, we typically find their decision makers using multiple different providers like Blades API, Apollo, and there are tons and tons of them. And for all the decision makers that we find in your qualified company list, typically use multiple email providers here to find their emails and verify them using different verifiers. And for all the catch-all emails, we use catch-all email verifier to verify this. Now you need to ensure here that we're not just using Claude Code, we're using multiple other APIs, multiple different services are being used here to actually make this process a successful process and actually get the highest quality and highest intent lead list for you. And then once we have all the verified emails, we typically use round robin approach to allocate each lead across different lists, because we are using multiple lists here across different ICP segments and across different messages. And we are A/B testing a bunch of things here. So that's why we use round robin to distribute each lead equally. And at the end, we use custom variable enrichment. This typically ensures that we are personalizing at scale. We are not sending same email to everyone. And using this approach, we're using AI to scan our prospects' website before we even reach out to them, scan their usual behavior, scan their entire social media, everything, so that we can actually send them a hyper research and hyper personalized email. Now, the next pillar here is the outreach tools. So you can just add more and more here, because this is not just a cold emailing system, or this is not just a LinkedIn outreach system. This is actually a proper end-to-end lead generation system where you can add as many channels. The more channels you use, the better it is. Typically for our clients, we use email sequencer for email automation. We use Instantly for this. And for LinkedIn sequencer, this keeps on changing. Earlier, we were using SendPilot and AimFox. Now we have shifted to GojiBerry, which is a YC-backed company which finds real intent and reaches out to them automatically. And it is giving pretty good results as of now. What we do is we typically set up multiple campaigns to test out different angles, different messages, different ICP segments, and see the stats, like where we are getting the most reply rates, where we are getting the most positive responses, and where we are getting the most amount of conversions from. We track every single KPI. We take care of all the technical setup like spin text creation, spam word removal, HTML removal, conversion rate optimization. All of this ensures that your emails are not landing in spam. They're actually landing in the primary section. Same for LinkedIn. LinkedIn works in a different way. You cannot play on volume here. So typically a low volume and more qualitative platform. So it's more on the social selling side. Typically, you send more personal emails, more personalized emails, and you only send outreach to the highest intent leads across your lead list. You don't just blast out outreach like you're doing email. On the email channel, you're reaching out to everyone across your entire TAM. But on LinkedIn, you're just reaching out to the highest intent leads. Now, after you set up all these outreach channels, again, you can add more and more here. We recently started doing WhatsApp outreach as well and SMS outreach as well, which is working really well in some niches. So obviously you can add those here as well. But the matter of the fact is, once you start getting positive replies across any channel, then what? Either you can just respond back with your basic manual system, or you can set up a reply agent. That's what we do for our clients. We have built an in-house reply agent which is trained on Claude Core, which is powered by that, and it knows everything about your business because you actually set up your business knowledge base in that. It will know all the objection handling scenarios of how your sales team handles objections to convert a cold lead to a warm lead and eventually a warm lead to a closed opportunity. And its AI responds to every single lead within a minute and sends those leads to your mid funnel. Instead of sending those leads to your mid funnel, we can also send these leads to your calendar link if the main goal is calendar link. But I typically recommend having some mid funnel in between to nurture those leads and build trust before they ever talk to you. Because if you're directly booking a call with these leads, then there's a high chance that you'll get more no-shows, and the leads that you're getting are really cold and don't know about your business a lot. So once you send all those leads, this reply agent will work 24/7. Whenever you get a lead, it will respond. It will also take care of all the follow-ups. Once you send those leads to your mid funnel, now the mid funnel depends on what funnel elements you're using. Typically for our clients, we set up the VSL funnel, which is a VSL landing page with your video on it, which is selling on your behalf and telling about your offer so that your prospects and all the people who are coming to a call actually watches the video and knows about your offer before they ever talk to you. Then after they watch the video, they apply to work with you and fill a quick qualification form. This also disqualify all those leads which have the budget concerns, because we will have questions like, hey, would you be able to invest XYZ in the next 3 months or 4 months, something like that. And only they say yes, then only they'll book a call with you. And after that, if they qualify to all our questions, then our system will automatically route them to your calendar link where they will be able to book a call with you. And through your calendar link, they'll receive nurturing emails every time as an email reminder, as just like telling them more about offers, sending them some case studies through emails, everything be automated. And they will just be able to book a call with you directly from there. And we can have some secondary mid-funnel elements as well. For example, you can have some lead magnets. You can also run retargeting ads to those people who are responding to you, because that also builds a lot of trust. And this works really well, especially if you're getting more than 5 positive leads a day. And you can have some newsletter campaigns running, LinkedIn post, content assets. You can just post on every single social media, which also helps when people are searching you on Google, because all these leads that you're reaching out to across different platforms, they're 100% going to search you before they ever speak to you, because they need to know about you and how your presence is. And if you're not showing up, if you don't have enough presence, and if they either read a bad review about you on some Trustpilot app, or they don't even read about you, then there won't be enough trust built. And this is what exactly we build for our own clients. Hope you found value in this video. If you want me and my team to build this exact same system for you and make it profitable, then click on the link in the description and apply to work with us.